Hell yeah.
How was the secret show?
The secret show was fun. It was actually it was very different than I was expecting. So the original plan was we were gonna play Faces, but
Yep.
then Faces double booked a fucking like college reunion that day. So I told Ryan the Terrible that he's dead to me, and that we were no longer gonna work together ever again. And I told Arya what happened. He's like, "All right, I think I have a fix, but you can't have beef." He's like, "You can't have another 10-year beef with a fucking venue for double booking you. You're too old for this shit, and we love Faces, so you have to drop the beef as soon as we do this." And I'm like, "Okay, fine." So yeah, me and Faces are cool. I'm actually playing there February 13th.
Nice.
But yeah, so it was gonna be at Faces, got double booked, got canceled, and then I was like, Aria, what are we gonna do? Like, I reached out to everybody, every booking agent that I know, every venue, everybody was booked for that day, and people were like, we have we have the evening of December 6th, and I'm like, no, fuck you. I'm not playing the same day as Tunes for Tots.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely not playing after them. You're missing the point. It has to be before. So finally, Aria was like, we'll do it at my house, which was very cool and very nice of him. And then we found out that he found out that his third floor apartment was vacant and was going to be vacant until January. So we just took over the third floor and did it there. And it was really cool. It was like very cute. It was a little potluck thing. People brought stuff, and Arya had his bunch of like choice records from his collection, like in a crate, so people could buy records, and like the money would go to the fund. And every record had like a fucking post-it note on it, like with an Aria-ism explaining like what type of music you're in for, which was fucking great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it was just a bunch of friends having a good time, and like I got this really bad cold like 2 days before. I still have the cold, but it was one of those things where my cold fucked off for the night. Like it was like, I understand this is very important, and the healing power of friendship. So like I felt fine all night, and then the second I got home, it was like, all right, time to pay the piper, and I didn't fucking sleep, and then I had work the next day, and so I'm back to being kind of sick, but we're manageable. I literally could not have recorded this on Thursday. But we can do it today. We can do it today. So
yeah, I was so busy. I completely forgot. And that's why when I reached out to you, it was late. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. Nah, dude, it's totally cool. But yeah, no, the secret show was great, and it was a good time. It is really like it is really what the Miracle on Comm Ave shows always kind of end up being, because we don't usually draw in a lot of people that aren't already like connected. There's not like you have been to coffin salesman shows where there is a bunch of people there you don't fucking know. Those people do not come to these Miracle on Comm Ave shows. It does tend to be like a friends gathering, and Aria referred to it as an office party, and it had that. It definitely had those vibes, and it was perfect. So it was really great.
Nice. That's good. Yeah. That's good. Well, before we get into this year's thing, I also want to thank you for doing a video every month to go with every record you put out this year. And they were all for different. They were for mostly different charities, right? Wasn't there a few? It was a few different charities.
There's a few charities that I repeated, either because I feel like they didn't get enough love, the first month I did it, or if, in some situations where like the problem actually got worse as I was raising money for them. So things like, I think, we did Trans Resistance Mass two months in a row. And then the last month that I actually made the record for, October, that was for the Greater Boston Food Bank, and I'm keeping it any sales I make through my Bandcamp until 2026 are going to keep going to the Greater Boston Food Bank,
Nice.
because that is obviously an ongoing problem.
Yeah.
And then starting 2026, until Miracle on Comm Ave comes out that year, I ain't raising money for nobody. I am broke as fuck, and it's time for me to start making money for myself.
We're raising some money for SQUALLIE this
year.
Yeah.
But even then, I mean, it was a very interesting experiment this time around, because what it did, on top of forcing me to make music, and which is, it's good to set up a challenge for myself that like makes me be creative, because I won't ever completely, I'll like partially phone it in, but I'll never completely phone it in. And it helps me like rebuild those muscles or whatever in my brain. But it also changed a lot of my like revisionist history from the last time I did it in 2020, because in hindsight I'm like, yeah man, that shit was easy, dude. I would just go to work, come home, play guitar, record something, go to sleep, and then and I just was it was whatever, and rinse repeat. And not only did I remind myself that it isn't easy, it actually is work, but also I'm like, oh, the world is open now. People want me to go to things. I have friends I want to support and visit and stuff like that. And like, it didn't, I wasn't in a position where, being completely, and also I have a girlfriend this time around. Did not, like, I was not in a relationship. That's another thing that makes it real easy to fucking knock out a bunch of music, is when you're lonely as shit. And you just so there was a lot of different challenges with it, but I'm happy with what I did. I'm happy with what's out there. I actually listened back to some of those records the other day, and I definitely feel that they'll stand the test of time a little better than the 2021s that I did. I think the 2021s were very much me learning some things and like just showing my mistakes and my process, whereas this past year there were a lot less mistakes and a lot less learning. It was more just taking what I've already learned and like building upon it.
Yeah, it was applying what you learned that first time around.
Exactly.
Right?
So they'll definitely, I'll definitely feel better about, later on down the line, next time I'm like talking to a band that, exists in one of the genres that I like attempted. I'll feel a little more comfortable being like, hey, just so you know, I've tried this before. And like, here's this, as opposed to the other stuff where I'm kind of like, you could if you want to listen, but like, don't worry about it if you don't. It's this will be a little more like, check this out.
Yeah. Nice, man. Nice.
Yeah.
So is there any goals for 2026 other than Miracle on Comm Ave? Like, are you setting, because I feel like, dude, you do a lot of like goal setting, right? And I've always, I appreciate that, right? Because like, even with that, like, so is it like the New Year's Eve, you do as many curls as, what is it for? Is it curls? Like, yeah.
Oh, my curls for Miracle on Comm Ave. Yes. The Christmas Eve bicep curls.
That's it. Yeah.
So I might be doing it this year. I'm not sure. A big problem with that is, I stream it on Instagram, and Instagram had this new update where you can't go live unless you have 1,000 or more followers. And I am like,
really?
And I'm like just under 1,000 followers.
You're so ridiculous.
Yeah. So I think I need like 27 followers. So if there's 27 people listening to this who don't follow me, just do it. 27 accounts just so you can live stream. Yeah. So I might do that. I don't know. My job right now, my current job is a lot weirder with scheduling than my last job. So I don't know what my Christmas week looks like right now.
Yeah. So what about for next year though? Are you setting up any goals for like making music or creating anything? Or
so I am setting up a goal that I am keeping a little close to the chest. It is going to involve Miracle on Comm Ave, but it's going to be a year-long thing, because next year. This year's the 9th. Next year is the 10th. That's a huge milestone, and I want something that really can help bring, not only like bring in more money, but bring more eyes to the product, and possibly get me in, get my name spoken in some of the rooms that I want it spoken in as far as this charity goes. Because while obviously it is all for the kids and it is all for the love of Christmas music, on top of that, there's also the Child's Play like community. They do this like banquet every November where they like auction shit off, and you can buy tickets to that banquet, but I don't want to buy tickets to that banquet. I want to be invited to that banquet. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely, so next year is going to be Miracle on Comm Ave 10 focused from jump. Like I'm gonna have a nice little break in between Christmas and New Year's, and then starting January, it's gonna be how am I gonna make the 10th one the biggest thing I've ever done. That's
nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's cool. I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to it. So
hell yeah.
All right, well, let's get into this year's compilation.
Yeah. Let's not jump ahead so much. We got shit going on.
Well, I mean, so for people who are just listening to one of these for the first time, this is the third year you and I have talked about this, I think. Third or fourth year. Yep. Every year, Squally puts together a compilation called Miracle on Comm Ave, and all proceeds go to Child's Play charity, which gets sick kids in the hospitals video games, right? And it's a great charity. You've been doing it this was your 9th one, and every year, like since I've been I think I have all of them now. Like I went back after the first year and bought all the old ones, right? Because there was tons of artists on there, but every year it's just it's awesome. It's awesome to see this music community come together and do stuff like this. And it's fun. It's fun to listen to. And then you do a show, and then you take the proceeds from the show and you do the same thing with that. And then it's the show is like people who post who submitted, right, who put songs on the compilation. And they play like one or two songs, or they play like what's that like?
No, we do. So normally we do like standard length sets. I don't. The first couple years that we were doing shows, I was trying to like pack as many people on as possible onto the bill. But in recent years, it's become the me and Aria sandwich. So I open the show, Aria closes all the shows. That's how it has always been. That's how it always will be. And then we pick one or two artists who either because when we book the show, nobody has their songs in yet. So it's people who either like we assume might have a song, or like are interested in it, or just interested in becoming a part of the family, or people who have given us songs in prior years. And then there has been talks about doing it. I don't know if you ever went to, in like the late 2000s, early 2010s, there was this thing called the Revival Tour, and it was all the Tim Barry and Chuck Reagan, and they would go on tour and they would do this thing where it was like one long set, but like people would come in and out and like play on each other's songs. Like
awesome,
Tim Barry would be playing, and then Chuck Reagan would come out and they'd do a song together, and then Tim Barry would fuck off and Chuck Reagan would play, and then like somebody else, but like Tim Barry would come back at another point during somebody else's song, and then it would become a Tim Barry set again. Like it was a really cool thing.
A round robin.
It is. It's a straight up round robin. And it is something that Ari and I have talked about pretty much every year. We're like, next year we should try that. But one, that is a lot of practicing with other people, which is not something I often have time for. And two, no cigarette breaks. No, and that's a problem for me. But I would like to do that eventually.
That'd be cool.
Do like kind of a Mocha All Stars show, because we definitely have our All Stars, and we definitely have people that I could get to do pretty much anything for the cause. So yeah.
Hell yeah. Cool. All right. So yeah, man, I mean, we go through these every year now, right? So let's you ready to get into it, dude?
Yeah, let's fucking go.
Because this is not the struggling artist anymore. This is now Squally Green Thumb presents.
Wait, hold on. I actually want to speak on that for a second. You know what? I wasn't sure how I was going to bring this up, but I'm glad you just said that because it's a perfect segue. All right, so you were familiar with the movie Nightmare Before Christmas, right?
Yes.
Okay. You are familiar with the full title of the movie being Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
Are you aware of how little Tim Burton actually had to do with that fucking movie?
No.
Okay.
No.
So Tim Burton created the Jack Skellington character, created the idea of a Halloween person finding Christmastown. And then he showed up for one day of filming when they were filming the behind the scenes thing that they were going to put on the special features of the VHS, because DVDs weren't around at the time. And that is it. But for the rest of time, Tim Burton gets all the credit for that fucking movie, and he barely did anything. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and that is what Miracle on Comm Ave is, because people love to give me so much credit. And yes, I had the idea. Yes, I have in the past reached out to musicians and been like, hey, I would really like it if you get me a song for this compilation. This year, I did not slide into a single person's DMs, except for I hit up me, Aria, and the Your Friends in Hell and Down Merciless Graves. We have a group chat. And I hit up the group chat and I was like, listen, it's Mocha season. We need to get tracks happening, but I just put my dog down. I do not have it in me. I'm like, it's hard enough for me to even reach out and ask this of you, but if you guys know anybody who might be interested, please reach out to them. I just don't have it in me. And I honestly didn't even for the first half of the month have it in me to do my daily Instagram posts where I'm like, you have 9 days left, which drives everybody crazy because it's like I'm giving everybody an anxiety attack every morning. But
that's all right. I like this.
Yeah, it's good. But so I literally, especially this year, did so fucking little. I'm just the email that people sent it to. And I really wanted to point out that this year is the real Miracle on Comm Ave, because not only did I get 21 fucking songs, I also got shit from people that I never expected. And some from people that I would have expected that I would get songs from, but I normally have to ask them. There are some people who just, no matter how much I post about it publicly, don't feel invited unless I invite them in specifically, right? One-on-one. This year, even those people sent me shit. So I was like, this is it, and this is really almost 100% out of my hands. So there's a reason why it's not Squally Green Thumb's Miracle on Comm Ave, but this is Squally Green Thumb presents Miracle on Comm Ave, podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. Just had to get that out of there. Sorry for interrupting you.
No, you're good. You're good, man. I just want to say before we get started, I am sorry about the passing of Pippin. Tremendous dog from all the videos and photos and songs that I've heard that dog on. So, and I know how that devastating that can be. And I know that from a place of, unfortunately, like I had to do the same thing one year. Right. And, so just wanted to put that out there. And man, I love you. And if you ever need anything, you can call me and text me or whatever. So
yeah, dude, will do. I mean, it's still hard over here, but he is Pippin does grace the cover of this year's, year's compilation. And you can buy a matching yellow hoodie to match Pippin's yellow hoodie with the album cover on it. And that's all in the memory.
Dude, I was going to buy a hoodie. because you had the big guy sizes in there.
Yeah.
However, I take a tall and everything.
Right, and they don't do tall. So I know.
I was bummed, dude. I'm like, I wish I was like 3 inches shorter.
Yeah, because it does go up
to be. Yeah, I never wanted to be less than 6'5" until I saw the hoodie. So
yeah, dude.
They look awesome though. They do. They look.
They
awesome.
are.
I saw the photo of you with one. Like it looks great, dude.
It's very comfortable, very good.
It looks like it. And that would have been the same one. I would have gotten the yellow one too, dude. Yeah. All right. So with that said, and we have the cover art was done by
Shotgun of Your Friends in Hell. It is a Miracle on Comm Ave interpretation of the cover of Final Fantasy IX, following the pattern that we've done for the past 3 years. I will say I'm not sure if for the 10th one we're going to go with Final Fantasy X, but when he reached out to me about it, he was like, hey, I assume we're doing 9 for this year. I'm like, absolutely. But the thing is I had created 4 carolers for the original covers. And there are 5 people on the cover of of Final Fantasy IX, as well as Miracle on Comm Ave 9. And I wasn't sure if I wanted him to create another caroler or whatever. But then one of those silver linings, Pippin passing, I was like, one of the characters has to be Pippin. And he was like, I was already going to squeeze him in there somehow. And I was like, so,
awesome. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, let's get into this amazing compilation, the 2025 edition,
yep.
if you will. Miracle on Comm Ave 9. All right. You're taking the lead here. I'll add commentary, and we'll go like we do every other year now. So
yeah. I don't have the list in front of me.
I got it. All right. Okay. That'll be my part. I'll tell you which one. All right. Track 1. Dead Light Bulb Society.
So Dead Light Bulb Society, that is Will Good, of Old Edison fame, one of my longest friendships, one of my favorite people that I ever created music with. He has contributed before to the compilation, and he needs a lot of help. He is in a wheelchair, doesn't have much use of his hands, so he can't play guitar anymore. But I remember after visiting him in the hospital after his accident, he said to me, he's like, I can't play guitar anymore, but I can sing like a motherfucker. And it's true. He always has been able to, and he still can. And this one, he got the assist from Liam and Aria, Old Boy and Coffin Salesman, on the instrumental of this. And it is the darkest sounding thing the kid has ever written. Just and vocal, like lyrics wise alone, like, we in the Old Edison, it was Will Good's deep lyricism over the as plain as you could get guitar chords, with a little flourishing from some trad instruments, but really it was like the focus was his lyrics, and it still is. But to hear him on this type of production was just earth-shattering. Like, I knew the second I heard it that it was going to be the first track on here. There was no better way to introduce this shit. Just absolute phenomenal.
Awesome. All right. Track 2 comes from Squally Green Thumb.
So this one, the song is called Suit Boots Santa Claus. And last year in January, I was listening to An Outcome the Wolves for the first time in quite a while. I saw something like some like Stereo Gum or somebody like had done an article on like how it still like holds up, and I'm like, I bet it does. I'll listen to it. And I hear Roots Radicals, and I'm instantly like, I got the suit, the boots, I'm Santa Claus. And I'm like, I have next year's fucking song done. And I I played a show January 3rd with Coffin Salesman, and all our spooky crew was there, and I told everybody, I'm like, this is what I'm doing, and everybody uh everybody else that night um knew what they were doing already, and they all delivered those songs this year, like as promised, which is very rare. Like I've had ideas, you know, I've had ideas and then a year later been like, that's no good, or like something else feels more important to write about or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that like all of us were like, this is what I'm doing next year, and we fucking did it, and also just like the beauty of all the tracks that came out of that is fucking great. So yeah, it's called Suit Boot Santa Claus because for the longest time I could not call that song Roots Radicals. I called it Boots Roots Radicals. I couldn't shake it from myself. So Suit Boot Santa Claus, all recorded on my phone because my fucking recording setup decided to shit the bed after serving me well for 10 months out of this past year, as well as probably the past 10 years of me recording. But it shit the bed, so I had to do it on my phone. Also, all of Jackie's songs were recorded on our phone, but they came out exactly how they needed to be, and I'm very happy with them.
Hell yeah. I got a question about that one too. So like, you know that like the I don't know, like the microphone effect you did too? Like it was kind of like, so when you decide you're gonna do a song, right? You're gonna write a song and you're gonna use that. Is that an afterthought, or do you think that before you start even recording it?
Sometimes it's an afterthought. There's like
do you have to change the way you do the song to fit it?
No, you just put it on. Basically, it is it is a post production thing. But you the only time I've ever really planned on using something was this past year I put out that doom metal record Dead Resin, and I wanted there to be like 3 types of vocals that I could do, and I wanted them all to sound the same, so it was like a cohesive thing. So I picked the effects that I was going to use, and I like saved a preset with the name like Dead Resin, so I could just like click on it and be like, that's it. So everything that, but for the most part, it is an afterthought, and it was especially an afterthought with this one because I thought that I was going to record it with my regular equipment, and I even had plans for like extra instrumentation, but then when it came down to the fact that I had to use my phone can do pretty well. We're using my phone right now for audio. It's not the worst at recording audio, but with the like power and volume that I put into singing this song, it kind of sounded like extra tinny. So I had to like, at first I was trying to find workarounds for that, but then I decided to just like, turn into the skid essentially. And I just kind of like made them sound even tinnier and more off-putting. And I was like, there we go.
Right on. So what did you lose for? We'll talk after because I might have something right around the house for you. So, all right, cool. Track 3 was from Micah Schnabel and Vanessa Jean Speckman, 2 of my favorite people in this world. So,
absolutely,
as for you, I'm sure,
yeah, absolutely fair people. So they were people that I wasn't expecting anything from because I hadn't reached out to them. They told me the first year that they did it that they had thought about sending me a song before, but we didn't have the relationship we have now. Like we had played a show together, but it was a million years ago when fucking Micah was in another band. But so like we really didn't know each other. We weren't on speaking terms because we hadn't played a show together yet. And the past 2 years, I did reach out to them. I was like, hey, do you think you could do this? And they were like, absolutely. And the first year they sent me a track that they recorded immediately after getting home from a Canadian tour and got home the day that the song was due, recorded it and sent it to me. And then this year they fucking moved from Ohio to California this past month.
Yeah.
And still found a way to get me a song.
And like immediately went on tour. They had to go on a tour too.
Yeah.
Like, so, yeah.
They are I know a handful of people who are professional musicians, and they are the hardest working out of all the ones that I know. They do not take a day off by any stretch of the imagination. They're always creating something or pushing something. And it is amazing to see, especially when you're someone like me who plays a show and is like, all right, cool, I don't want to see or do anything for the next month. You know, like, so, and this song, absolutely amazing. I referred to it in you know, the Facebook post I made about the song as the most juggalo they've ever sounded. And you know, here's the thing, Micah and Vanessa, they are juggalo allies. Like, they are pro juggalo. They are not juggalos themselves. However, every once in a while, Violent J will do a song where he kind of ramble raps over like an acoustic guitar. And while Micah's style has always been this kind of rambly over an acoustic guitar thing, it's never sounded so much like Violent J. And the first time I heard it, I was like, oh my God. But it's an amazing song, and it's a demo. It's a demo from their upcoming record, which I can't wait to hear the fucking rest of. Same. It's just so good, and I can't wait till they come back around, because I actually missed them on this past tour. That was another thing. I was like, I don't have it in me to reach out to people, and I didn't see Micah and Vanessa last time they were in town, so I had kind of really just assumed I wasn't getting anything from them. You know, because, you know, maybe they're thinking maybe Squally doesn't love us so much anymore, or maybe they're mad at me. I don't know. A lot of emotions are happening right now, but they dropped it in my inbox and, you know, had the sweetest message attached to it, so I was already crying before I heard it. And and they're just the best.
They're the most genuine people. I had them on the podcast this past year, and like I was like, so I went up to him at Pooza, and I was like, hey, you know, my name's Trev, and I was like, you know, I've seen you play before in Massachusetts, and I saw you guys' day set, and like now, you know, it was like right after their night set that they did. And I was just like, you know, I do this thing, like it's so funny whenever I'm like, I do like the podcast, I'm like, I do this thing every once in a while. It's every week, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes more than once a week, right? But I'm like, you know, I like to talk to people about life and about the art they create and this and that, and they were like, fuck yeah, we'll do it. You know what I mean? And like they were just so nice. And then when I had them on, it was just an amazing thing. Now I have to say, I have to give you credit for something here too, because like I don't know if I think it was after last year's recording, we were just kind of bullshitting afterwards, right? And you had told me you got to check out Micah's book.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, and I went in and I bought Hello, My Name is Henry. And I hadn't had time to like I hadn't read a book. That was the first act. Like I do a lot of audiobooks because I'm always doing shit, right?
Right. Same.
So his book was the first physical book I have read in years. And I read and you can ask Jeff this. Like I read it while we were at Pooza, and I finished like the last night there. I read like the last 100 pages of the book. Like I finished it while I was there. I started and finished it while we were there. And Jeff was like, how are you up? Because I went to bed, it was like 6 a.m. and then we got up at like 7:30. And he's like, how are you doing this? And I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm an old school guy. Like this is how I've lived this way, and a little sleep. But yeah, no, it was an amazing book.
Yeah.
I was really happy I got to talk to Micah about it when I had him and Vanessa on, because it was just like and that I tell you what, like talk about tear, like they're so genuine, both of them, right? And like their stuff is like so raw. And like I remember I there was times when My Name is Henry that I was getting choked up, and like even and then I went after that I did The Clown Watches the Clock.
Right.
Same thing. Like there was moments where I'm like, you know, so I also want to say we're gonna shout out Micah again. I also bought I have the physical copy of of The Clown Watches the Clock, but I also did the audio. I bought the audiobook on Bandcamp that he made for it, and it is hearing him read it is so good. So good. So
and that's part of the thing when it comes to Micah's writing too, is like, especially like reading his books, especially after like knowing him, like having a conversation with him and then reading his book, like he does write exactly how he talks. And any one of his story, you reading his stories, it's almost like he's telling you a story, like directly, right? Like you're just bullshitting, at the merch table. And it's great. It's great. And yeah, they are incredibly easy reads. And there's something crazy about, I've always thought there was something crazy about the term easy read, because to me that just brings to mind like, E-Z read, like books for your like child, like, like the section at the Scholastic Book Fair that you'd get beat up if you fucking bought something from, right? But really what it is it's just like, why would you stop?
Exactly.
Like, why? Like, there's like, fuck it, miss, you know what? Get to work late. You got off at the wrong stop because you were reading the book, and don't stop fucking reading the book to get off the train type shit. Like, that is exactly what it is. And I'm so happy he did the audiobook too, because I bring it up to I want to be an audiobook like reader. Like, I want to be one of those people. Of course, when I decided that was something I was going to start trying to do as a side hustle, AI kind of took over, so it's a little harder to get into it. So so whenever I have a friend who writes a book, which I have a few, and actually one of them is also on this year's comp. But I'm always like, hey man, if you ever want to do an audiobook, like I'll read it. Like, I want to do it. You don't have to pay me. Like, it's something I want to do. I went up to Micah and I was like, hey dude, if you ever, like, not even fucking thinking obviously he'd want to read it, because one, it's already written in his own voice. Two, the man has a bomb ass speaking voice. Like, you want to listen to him talk forever. So I'm just like, I was like, I didn't even think about it. And then afterwards I was like, I'm sorry, man. He's like, nah, man, it's cool. It's all right. It's great.
That was a pretty good impression. No, so they're awesome. All right, so moving right along, track 4, Jackie Frasca.
Jackie Frasca. This is her one of 2 songs that she did on this year's compilation. So
this one's Wolves, Act 1 and 2.
Acts 1 and 2. Yeah, so this is a Bon Iver cover. I don't tend to put any information regarding a song being a cover if it's by somebody with a certain level of popularity on Bandcamp, because ever since they got bought by Epic Games, they've been kind of like cracking down on cover songs. Like I have no problem doing it, for when the recovering Catholics do a Blue Bloods cover. Absolutely, I'll put Blue Bloods in parentheses, like, but with somebody like Bon Iver, I didn't want to put it in. But I don't know how many Bon Iver fans also listen to Miracle on Comm Ave, but it is a Bon Iver song. It's a very beautiful song, and it is one of the songs, both the songs that she did this year. After we lost Pippin, we both kind of found ourselves in this place where we could only listen to very specific songs. Mine was 1,000 Blunts by Suicide Boys. I just put that shit on repeat for like 4 days. But she had kind of a handful of songs, and 2 of which were songs that I was like, I can absolutely play guitar and you sing and we do it. This was one of them. It was a wonderful process recording. We did have a lot of technical difficulties. Like I said earlier, my shit broke, but it came out so beautiful. And there's this part of the song, there's like a bridge of the song where the guitar is supposed to play like the chord progression like 14 times, and I only did it 13 times, and the way that like my guitar starts to cut away when she like sings the last line of it, just fucking wrecks me. Both of us, every time we listen to it, we get like a shiver and then we get sad. Like it's it's one of those. So yeah, I love it. I mean, the girl's got an amazing voice. It's one of the things that made me fall in love with her, and I love being able to play guitar for her and have it. It breaks my heart when she picks a song that's like way too advanced on guitar because she doesn't know guitar. So like to her, guitar's guitar, right? And I'm like, no, honey, they're doing something very strange that I have never practiced, and we have 3 days to record this. I'm sorry. Like,
Yeah. Right on. All right. Track 5, Coffin Salesman and Lindsay Moon.
So you want to talk about songs where there's one line that makes me cry every fucking time. Yeah. This song, I'm not even going to say it. There's a part of this song that ever since I started dating Jackie, every time the line comes up, I fucking lose it. And again, this is something that was promised to me last year. They actually promised this to me last December, not even January. And I set an alarm in my phone for November 2nd that said, remind Aria and Lindsay that they owe you Fairy Tale in New York.
Awesome.
Because since the second year, ever since Miracle on Comm Ave 2, people have been like, oh, I already talked to, it'll be like, let's just say it's a dude. Let's say it's a dude. And he's like, oh, I just talked to this chick I know who sings, we're going to do Fairy Tale in New York. I'm like, hell yeah. Never happens. Sometimes on like my first post of like, hey, now accepting submissions for Miracle on Comm Ave, it's somebody like, hey, if there's anybody who wants to do Fairy Tale in New York with me, never fucking happens. But these two decided to do it, and it's fucking breathtaking. It's absolutely breathtaking. Aria, already the true king of Miracle on Comm Ave. He's been a part of and contributed himself so many songs. And Lindsay, who in her first year on Miracle on Comm Ave gave me my favorite song of that year. Like, they are absolute fucking all-stars, and I'm so happy that the song is finally here. I'm happy it's them that did it, and I'm happy they did it exactly the way that they did. The little extra like hesitation and like giggling and stuff before like they get like really into the song, like after the intro. Perfect, beautiful. And like, these are my friends, I love to hang out with them, and that is like a little peek behind the curtain of like what it's like sitting around with them. And you have Aria, who is I refer to Aria as a flexible perfectionist. He is a perfectionist, but he does have a little leeway, right? He does understand, it is what it is. It's as good as it's going to get, whatever. And then you have Lindsay, who is insanely talented, but very intimidated because she assumes everybody's more talented than her, but they're not. And like them working together and just hearing a piece of their dynamic in the recording process, beautiful, absolutely beautiful, gorgeous, gorgeous song. And it's the only one version of it I want to listen to ever again.
It's so good.
It's so good.
Yeah. So I got this the morning of, right? So usually I get it at midnight, right? Because I was working overnights, and I was always working when you put it out. But I got it it was like 4:55 in the morning when I was leaving for work, and it was a good soundtrack to listen to on my way to work that day. So, and that song came on. I'm like, oh,
I've been getting that from a lot of people. That's something that I've never really heard before, but particularly this year, people have been like, just like on the first, everybody was like, great commute soundtrack. And I'm like, I agree. It's been my commute soundtrack for 2 days now. Suckers. I'm just testing levels, but bringing up that you usually buy it at midnight because you work overnights. I sometimes work until 12:15 a.m. now. And I worked that I worked you know the I worked into the first. So
Yeah.
like I actually there are some years where I will force myself to stay up until midnight. Other years where I'm like I'll wake up at like 4 a.m. and post it, whatever. But this was the first year where I had no choice but to be awake at midnight. So I sat there and as like the dispensary I work at, we're open till midnight. And to let people know that nobody else is coming in and it's time to finish up your orders because we got to close. The lights flicker at midnight. So the lights flickered and I pressed publish album. It was like some Frankenstein shit. I was like, it's alive.
There's no, you can't schedule it. You can put it in draft and then hit publish.
I feel like maybe you can schedule it, but I'm just not that type of person, dude. Like
I hear you.
And then my commute home that morning, you know, it takes me until about 1:30 to get home. My entire commute home was just me like posting, tagging, like, you know, all that stuff. And then I like blinked and I was home and I was like, this is great. This is what Miracle on Comm Ave is all about, Charlie Brown.
All right. Track 6, Permanent Stains, Merry Christmas, I Fucked Your Snowman.
This is the other song that has been promised to me every year. But also not so much promised. It's usually, like I said before, with, you know, I make the first post about now accepting submissions, and it's usually like somebody who hasn't been in a band in a very long time will be all like, hey, who wants to get together and do Merry Christmas, I Fucked Your Snowman, or Ho 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 Chi Minh. And I'm glad they did Merry Christmas, I Fucked Your Snowman instead of Ho 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 Chi Minh. But I've never been the biggest guy into Showcase Showdown. To me, they've always just been that band that Mike McColgan says at the beginning of Barroom Hero, or the middle of Barroom Heroes.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Which is funny. I used to be friends with somebody who, every time I brought up the Ducky Boys, he would be like, oh yeah, the band from Barroom Heroes.
Yeah.
But you know, I've never been that into them, but I know, obviously. So Permanent Stains is Sean Refuse, formerly of Refuse Resist, currently of Chum Huffer. We got Chris from The Scars and Mass Spy, Jamie Pyatt of Refuse Resist, Loser Circle, Mass Spy, so many more bands than you would think he would be involved in, because he's always like, I'm a dad, I'm tired, I live in Lowell, I work from home, I don't want to be a punk anymore, but except he is, and just cannot stop playing. And I believe the original drummer of Loser Circle, maybe it was the second drummer, Matt on drums, that was something where Sean posted something on the internet about like, I want to do a Showcase Showdown cover band for Halloween, who wants to be involved? And I guess it all formed based off that, but I'm pretty sure I was the first comment on it, and I was like, and record the fucking song for Miracle on Comm Ave so I can finally have it, because again, just like I love Fairy Tale in New York, was never again really into Showcase Showdown, but just the fact that every year somebody says it and it doesn't happen, like it needed to happen, and it couldn't have happened with a better band. I mean, they are all veterans and legends in their own right. Honestly, to the point, like I would say, it's funny because Sean was very excited about doing this, very excited about, he actually like reached out to Showcase Showdown and like, got their permission, which I was like, damn. If you recall last year, I didn't even tell Mark I was covering the Ducky Boys. I just fucking did it.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah. So I was like, wow, that's a choice. And he was very excited about it, and he did get their permission, and I believe one of the members mastered it for them. So, getting them involved and all that, it was very fun and cute and exciting. But like, part of me is also like, Sean, I think Refuse Resist was bigger than they ever were. I true, like, that band was such a moment it like they really defined the years that they were active in Boston, and they did get huge. They got to play a lot of big shows and be pretty well known across in hardcore scenes across the country. So like, I do understand, admiring a local band, a historical local band that you love very, very much. Obviously, again, we talked about this with the Ducky Boys last year. I think everything Mark Lynn shits out is gold. But at the same time, I'm like, man, I swear you got bigger than they did. But yeah, very good. Very happy it's on there.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right, so the next one, I don't know if it's Bad Bach or Bad Batch.
It's Bad Bach. This is another track from our dear friend Dan O'Halloran, who comes up with a new band name every time he gives me a track.
That's awesome.
The first year he was on the comp, he gave me 3 separate songs with 3 different band names, and and so he did it again this year. Dan O'Halloran, most of us know him from Darkbuster. That's certainly where I know him from, but he's been in so many bands. And he is, he is somebody who continues to make music for the love of making music. Not always punk, which obviously I appreciate, and have a kinship with him in. But this is very close to, the type of song that I'm used to hearing Dan on. And when he sent it to me, he was like, this was originally about an annoying coworker named Mary, but I added Xmas on the end to make it a Christmas. So Mary, if you're listening to this, thank you for being so fucking annoying that I got a song out of it.
Yeah. Thanks for being the muse.
Yeah. It's funny. This past year I played a show with Lenny on my birthday. And by played a show, I mean I saw a show was happening. It was on my birthday, and I begged Dave Wells to let me play a couple songs, which he did, and it was fun and cool. And Lenny is somebody I've always looked up to, and we've had an on again, off again friendship. Usually when he's sober, he likes me. When he's drinking, he hates me. But I remember either on the way to or from that show, Jackie only knew Lenny as the bartender at the Midway. And I'm like, oh my God, I've never played you Darkbuster. And so I played her Darkbuster, and I'm like telling her everybody, and like she's met Amy Griffin. She's seen Amy Griffin play. She's heard all these songs from Dan. And she's like, wait, hold. So there's this one band that had all these amazing people in it. I'm like, it happens sometimes. Yeah. It happens sometimes like that, and those people can go off and do their own thing, and it's all amazing. I do want to get both Lenny and Rice involved in a future thing, just so I can kind of have all of Darkbuster taken care of.
Yeah. It's like you're collecting them, right? Like
exactly.
Right on. All right. Warm and Fuzzy. Snowflake.
Yeah. So this is Warm and Fuzzy is the current project of my friend and arch nemesis Jonas. Jonas is
I learned about this last year.
Yeah. Yep. So Jonas was my arch nemesis for many years, but we make up on Christmas. Just like the armies in World War I, where they would just have their little Christmas truce. That's what we do. And so he normally gives me songs under his singer-songwriter name, not quite the Interstate. But he gave me a Warm and Fuzzy song a couple years ago, and it was like way more like abrasive and punk than what he normally does. So when he sent me this, I was really expecting that. And what it is actually is this just beautiful lo-fi instrumental, and something that so I listened to a bunch of Christmas music in November leading up to, working on this compilation, getting myself in the mood. So I tend to get a lot of my normal Christmas listening habits out of the way. And then the comp comes out, and I listen to the new comp, and I listen to it alongside the old comps, and I do that for a little bit. And then I usually reach a certain point where I just want to shut my mind off, and I find like playlists of like lo-fi hip hop that are like, you know, meant to be wintry in nature, which, as you know, is my thing with the compilation. Doesn't have to be Christmassy, just has to be wintry. And a lot of those songs end up being the soundtrack to videos of Pippin. So this is, you know, one of the beautiful things about this compilation is I never set out to have a theme. I never lock anybody into anything, you know, tell people they need to be this piece of this piece of anything. But the way the comp comes together is usually something magical and something that somebody might assume was like put together like by like some fucking committee or like grand tribunal of sorts. But it really wasn't. It was just happenstance that he sent me this, and it was perfect for you know, the representation of Pippin that I wanted on this record. So that was really good. And I've done my allotted time of saying nice things about him. Jonas can fuck off. But Jonas is one of my other friends who's a writer. He has a book called The Last of Last Call. It's a very, very good book. I believe the second pressing of it had a picture of Will Good on the cover. The current pressing doesn't, but it is a wonderful book, and I have hit him up to do an audio book, but he fucking hates me, so he won't let me do it.
Right on. Right on. All right. Your Friends in Hell. Ho ho, Honest Living.
Oh my God. So they broke out this song. They played a show last year, like late in December. I think it was like the 21st or something. And they advertised it as the one and only time that they were going to play the Christmas song that they had written me last year. And they were like, we have another Christmas song, and they did this. They did Honest Living, which, for those of you who haven't heard yet, what is your problem? Right. Your Friends in Hell have a song called Honest Living, and it's basically a song from the point of view of Renfield, Dracula's little fucking bitch boy. And it's a great song. It by itself was a great song. And then they changed the lyrics to be about Santa Claus and like from the point of view of elves, which in previous years, Arya did write a song from the point of view of elves, like trying to form a union or some shit. I don't know. I haven't gotten to that track yet in my retrospective this year, because we have 9 fucking of these to go through, and it's only the 7th. But like, yeah, so it's, you know, it's definitely something that's been broached before, but honestly, this version sounds even more sinister than the Dracula one. Like,
it does. I was about to say that.
Yeah, it is terrifying. Dude. Yeah. It is fucking terrifying. Like, absolutely terrifying. And I thank them so much for doing this. And that was something where I was like, you guys could just do this next year. Like, you already have it figured out. And they were like, oh yeah, we'll think about it, blah blah. Because I did mention, I believe it was either on the podcast last year or maybe at the show or something. But I did mention, in a way that they heard, I'm like, they told me they're only ever gonna write one Christmas song, but come the fuck on, they haven't even written a song about Krampus yet. Like, you know, that right. Like they're the cryptid band. Like, obviously they're gonna have a fucking Krampus song eventually. So I was like, yeah, right. And I was like, oh yeah, you guys should do this. And they're like, yeah, maybe we might write it. You know, we might actually do that Krampus song or whatever. And then like, I saw Shotgun again like a few days later for Lindsay's birthday, and he's like, yeah, we're fucking doing it. We're absolutely doing it.
You know, it's I don't think, like, I love song parodies, like your song. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't think anybody could have did a better parody of Your Friends in Hell song than Your Friends in Hell.
Exactly. And that, yeah, it's so fucking good, and you know, and I just love them, and we really, like, we cannot say enough about how amazing of a band they are, how amazing people they are, and like the like love and care they put into everything they do. And you know, I've seen them, you know, flourish with that. I don't think flourish is the right word. Like thrive with that. Like I've seen them play in front of crowds that were 100% locked in to whatever gimmick they had going on that night. I've also unfortunately seen them in front of crowds that didn't get it, which is, you know, shame on the fucking crowd, not on the band. But the way that, you know, and I can't speak for Shotgun. Maybe he goes home those nights and goes, "What the fuck is wrong with me?" But it's nothing wrong with him. It's the crowd. And at least as they are performing, they're still in it. They never let go of it. They never show any frustration on their faces. It is just a fun and intricate time. Anytime you go see them, anytime.
Yeah.
And I love them. I love them so much.
Me too. And they're great. They're just wonderful human being. Like, going, you know, I'm going to say this. I mean, everyone that I know that's on this comp, right? You're all genuine people. And so I'm going to keep saying that. But like,
yeah.
And I'm sure the ones who I don't know are genuine people too. You know what I mean? So, and maybe this guy from Warm and Fuzzy genuinely hates you. I don't know.
You know,
but, you gotta keep it going, keep tradition going though. You know,
exactly.
All right, cool. So the next one is Dandelion Cigarettes. Good deeds count for extra tonight.
So basically, Dandelion Cigarettes is Liam, aka Old Boy, and he has done some like crazy creative shit over the years for this compilation. And this year he set out to write a song from the point of view of a pigeon, and he fucking did it, and it's really incredible. And I've listened to it a few times. I've even seen him since we put this out, but I forgot to ask him if it's supposed to be one of the pigeons from Home Alone 2, but that's what I picture in my head. I picture the pigeons in Home Alone 2 singing a song to the bag lady that you know, ends up helping Macaulay Culkin, and he gives the turtle doves to, like, spoiler alert for Home Alone 2.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
Spoiler.
I'll put a disclaimer at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, but it's like, it really is. It's so good, and he, you know, I've always loved Liam's like singing and songwriting, and like what he actually does put out there. But it's something that I don't think he will ever fully understand himself. He is a character actor when it comes to songwriting. Like, he can do anything and it'll come out as genuine. As you were saying earlier, everybody on this comp is a very genuine person. There have been years where non-genuine people were on it and they're not on it anymore. We have kind of gotten ourselves a great group of just warm-hearted people, except Jonas, that fucking asshole. But Liam genuinely can write a song from anybody's perspective and make it his own. You know, when we were in the old Edison together, there was a song that we had called Between Wind and Water. And there was Will Good had his verses, and he like wanted there to be a verse from Will Good's verses were from the perspective of the sailor going out to sea and never returning, and we wanted something from the point of view of the widow. But he couldn't. Will couldn't write it, and we were gonna have our fiddle player sing it. But we just were like, who's gonna write this shit? And Liam did. And not only did he write it, he ended up singing it because our fiddle player had this weird thing where she had like this very good traditional Irish music voice, but in the old Edison she wanted to sing like the boys, and we just all had this gruff fucking Tom Waits smoking half a pack of cigarettes before we get on stage so we sound right thing going, and it just wasn't working out. So, but Liam, sang that part, and it's it ended up being, I think it ended up, we ended up switching it to the point of view of the father, because obviously Liam's like, I'm no fucking widow. It was brilliant. And, a lot of what we did in the old Edison was very much, trying to be like actually genuine as possible. Like everything's about drinking and smoking and being from South Boston and being in the punk scene. But when we did get more creative and started working in fiction, Liam is able to come up with a lot of amazing things. And this Pigeon song in particular, like, belongs up there with some of the best songs we ever put out. Like, I fucking love it.
Yeah, it's very good. I love Liam, and I actually hung out with him this past summer, or it was probably September. He test played this tabletop RPG that I made.
Oh, so, hell yeah.
Yeah, so we all actually Lindsay and Shotgun were there, and we went to Liam's house, and we all sat down and we played this thing, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun. There was a few other people there too. It was an awesome time, and I was, I love, like, when I ever, like, Liam and I chat here and there, you know what I mean? Like, we'll have a quick chat, like, on like Instagram or whatever. And it's just always, again, like you said, he's one of the most genuine people ever, and I love his stuff. I wish he would record more and put it out,
Well, and that's the thing, is he just doesn't, and I used to give him shit about it. I no longer do. I'm like, hey man, do you? But
yeah.
The fact of the matter is, he will write and record something for Miracle on Comm Ave every year.
Right, yeah.
And that is, so that's kind of why I stopped giving him shit. I'm like, all right, listen, I already have you once a year, right? Like, and
I always try to make sure I get to a show when he's playing too,
right?
Because it's such a rarity for that I get to hear him.
It's such a rarity, and also he'll pull out, like, half of his set will be songs that nobody's ever heard before except for like his wife, and it's like, hey, those are amazing, you should record it. He's like, yeah, I will, and then he just doesn't, and that's fine. That's fine. But I wish he would, because I do love them, but I do, again, the fact that I get him once a year giving me something, and it's always gold, always. He's another all-star. Like, his song Abominable last year was the best.
That was like, and like you said, he likes to do different things, right? Like last year was really, really like different, right?
He's great at character acting. And again, he's also great at, like, writing songs from his actual life experiences and stuff. But I think sometimes, he might put a little too much importance on that, and for whatever reason, just wants to do that a little more. I'm like, listen, dude, you just fuck it. Like, you can build worlds. I've seen you build worlds in 3 minutes or less. Like, just fucking do it. Exactly. I love them.
Yeah. All right. Valiant Visor, Midwinter Ruminations.
So that's Valiant Vizier.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. It's all right. You just told me you've only read one book in, like, the past fucking Who knows how long?
I also don't have my glasses on, so I don't see the eye until I get up close. The second eye in the vizier. Yeah.
So that
but
is.
You're right. I haven't read a book in a long time.
So that is fucking Eileen from Thou Merciless Graves. That is her. She's been working on a bit of an industrial noise project here and there, and this was the first track I got sent this year, and it's another one of those things where and it's just this instrumental, and it's even kind of sparse. There's a lot of spots that are very quiet, and but it did kind of fit perfect. Like when I heard it, and just like with the Will Good song that I put as the first track, when I heard it, I was like, this is the middle of the album. Like
this is the interlude or whatever.
This is
right?
the interlude, exactly. Yeah. I was like, I don't know how many instrumental songs I'm gonna get, because I get a few here and there, or short songs, because short songs are also good for like interludes. But I'm like, this is the center of the album. Everything is gonna be built outwards around this. Nice. And it's really fucking good. Eileen is another person who I wish just put out more music in general, especially because I know that she's like very educated in electronic music. Like, she took classes for it and stuff. And as much as I like to shit on Berkeley kids, like electronic music is something where classes help. Like, I do all of my shit based on tutorials I find on YouTube, and I bet I've spent more time combing through those, looking for the thing that I need to know, than she spent learning that thing in the class. They probably just were like, "Hey, this is how you do this." And she was like, "Oh, okay, good." But she's so talented, and and she has a great brain for sound design in general, which is another place where I find myself lacking. I use a lot of presets. She does her own design, and it's great. And it was so wonderful. And she wanted to come out to the show, the secret show that we did, and she couldn't make it, and she actually like Venmo'd me money for Child's Play charity, and was like, this is at least enough to buy a Mario Kart, because I always base how much money we've made on like what it could buy for them. I'm like, I'm always like, all right, we've made enough for a fucking Nintendo Switch. Let's see if we can get a Switch 2. We got PS5 money yet? Let's go. And so like, so I like that. I like that she very much cares, not only about just doing good, but she is also somebody who's like, oh yes, absolutely, video games are the only thing in the world that heals me. We need to get this out to these kids. So it's always good when somebody gets it on all the levels. And she's somebody who does. Absolutely. Such a sweetheart. Love her to death.
Yeah, great. Eileen's great. All right, track 12. We're halfway. We're through the halfway mark now.
All right.
Hell Beach, Run Rudolph Run.
Okay, so this was the song that I never expected to get a Hell Beach song. And Hell Beach is...
You got a huge shout out by them last night, by the way.
Really? Fuck yeah. That's great. Yeah. That's great. So Hell Beach is... I remember the day Hell Beach dropped their first... I don't remember if it was just a single or they dropped a whole EP at once, but I just remember that day seeing all of my friends, like all my like local punk friends on social media being like, holy shit, Hell Beach, and like posting the song and being like, this is amazing. And I'm like, my finger tends to be far from the pulse in what my punk friends are into punk wise, like, because I no longer surround my life with it. I'll find out about something months later and be like, oh, and check it out and be like, yeah, that was cool. Or like, yeah, absolutely, this is amazing. And I will be listening to it for a while. With Hell Beach, I was like, who the fuck are these people? Why does everybody know them? And then I look into it. I'm like, oh, it's Corey's band. So, and obviously it's more than Corey's band. It is. I think it's what? It's like two other people that were in Secret Spirit with him, I think.
Yeah, Brandon, and
Yeah, and
and
then
Jordan,
yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, so it's it's the new Secret Spirit, and Secret Spirit was one of those bands where I didn't find out about them until like months after everybody was obsessing over them, and then also was like, oh, it's Corey's band. So Corey, I've been friends with him since I had to buy him beer. He was in the OC45 when Old Edison and OC45 first crossed paths. And I've always loved him and what he's done, and we've always maintained as good a friendship as you can when he lives in like bumfuck New Hampshire and I'm down here being a hermit. But I never expected anything from Hell Beach simply because they're one of those bands who like truly understand the power of like marketing and scarcity. And that's a thing where like I said before when we were talking about Micah, I have a lot of friends who are professional musicians. I have a lot of friends who are not professional yet, but are running their band in a way that maybe they could be eventually, right? And and these are all people who, because I know them, because I knew them before they got to that level, or just because I know them now and have spoken to them and realized that they are in it for the love of the music, but understand that there are rules that they have to follow in order to be more marketable and more successful. And there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely not. It is not a path that I could ever bring myself to take. You could lay those rules out in front of me. You could hit me with a fucking shock wand every time I step out of line, and I'm still gonna do it wrong because that's just not how I do things. So I appreciate and respect that. And the thing is, with bands like that, I often can't get a track from them for Miracle on Comm Ave because it interrupts their schedule or whatever. And I understand. Their process, their schedule, I understand. So, especially in the year where I wasn't reaching out to anybody, I was not expecting Hell Beach to just send me a fucking song. And they did. They sent it to me. They were one of the last people. They were one of the last bands to send me something. And also when they sent it to me, they hadn't given everybody with the link access to the Google Drive. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, guys, and I emailed them a bunch and sent multiple requests. I'm sure they got 5 emails within the span of a half hour. Hey, please, yeah, and because they were even they were like, hey, let us know if there's anything else you need from us, blah blah. And I'm like, yes, please, the access.
Let me listen.
Let me hear it. Let me actually upload it. I need this because again, they sent it to me. They sent it to me right before the deadline. So I'm and yeah, and it's amazing. Run Rudolph Run is a great fucking song. I love how they Hell Beached the fuck out of it. It's it's so good. It's so amazing. And also, as I said, 1:30 a.m. December 1st, I am finally getting into bed after posting all these things and tagging all these people, and I have my plans for how the next morning, which I had to, go to work the next morning. So in a few hours, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to do this, and this to do more promotion and do that real big first day push. I fucking wake up. They have 3 reels out, an Instagram story. They're posting all this shit about it. They are they understand marketing and they are out marketing me on my own compilation. And again, not mad, love them, and very excited. And honestly, I wish I was friends with the entire band. I really only know Corey, and I wish I was friends with the entire band. But I've loved all the music that they've made so far, and just for the song alone, they have a solid place in my heart for forever. But just the amount that they have been pushing it, and not holding back at all, treating this like they would any other release they did. which is another thing that not everybody does, and it's okay if you don't. It doesn't have to be. It's the
Mhm.
fact that Hell Beach is going the extra mile. You know,
Right.
you only have to wear 15 pieces of flair, but some people choose to do more.
Yes,
And Hell
yeah.
Beach has chose to do more and really make their coming into the Miracle on Comm Ave family like a huge event, and I love them forever for it. So cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah, so they not only did they shout out you in the comp last night, they played the song.
Hell yeah.
And then I think they promoted the comp, like they said something about the comp again after they played the song.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. And like, you know, and like just from hearing like Jordan talk about it, like he was very grateful to be on it, and like he was very excited about it, and it was cool. It was cool to you know, it was cool that like I've seen them a couple times now. One, now that Franklin is in the band, Franklin Simplest, he's playing bass. So now they have two guitar players. They have a bass player, then they have Corey on drums, right? And then so Jordan, the other two times I had seen them play, Jordan had a guitar. He still looks like a madman when he's up there.
Yeah.
But like he was free to do whatever he wanted last night. He went nuts, and I was like, this is awesome. Like it's cool. It's like a different experience every time I see them, which is awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I unfortunately have never seen Hell Beach live, but I did see Secret Spirit live. And I remember that was also my first time seeing KCUF, which I think it was KCUF's like second EP release show. So again, even the bands that my friends are in, I'm kind of still on the upkeep with. But I remember like seeing Secret Spirit and like Arya coming up to me and be like, dude, this is like nothing else Corey has ever been involved in. These guys are insane. Like, watch. And I just remember like watching Jordan, like how he sings with his entire body, and not in a way of like he has to like, you know, some people sing with their whole body and they have to like hunch up their shoulders and like kind of like get real tight to just like really belt it out. Like it's like the different stances he takes changes his voice and like and shit like that. And I was like completely blown away. And still am every time I hear everything that they do, just really fucking great. And they played a show this year at Fest with my favorite Halloween punk band, House Ghost. And I'm nice. Like, I was sitting like I remember I turned to Jackie and I'm like, all right, so I technically have 1 degree separation from House Ghost now. Yeah, that's so awesome. Yeah, I love Hell Beach, and so grateful that they're putting so much effort into this, especially because, like I said, they are a band who knows how to market, and it's so to have somebody, which again is a knowledge I don't have, to have somebody with that knowledge and that ability to like put it towards this, it's been beautiful. It's been beautiful to see, and the numbers are coming in, so there we go.
Cool. So real quick too, I met Corey for the first time last night, and
oh hell yeah.
Yeah, so Corey came up to me, and I thought I was like in the way. So if Corey, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry. I was like kind of weird and awkward because I thought I was just in your way. And then you're like, oh, hey, no, I wanted to thank you for like all the stuff you've done for us, and, you know, having us on and promoting their stuff. And I was like, oh, thanks. But yeah, I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Like when he came over, I was like, oh, I'm in your way. Let me get out of it, you know.
Yeah, but Trev, I mean, how often do you feel that way every time you're everywhere? Like you are. You know, there's two types of big bouncer sized dudes. There's the one that are like, I don't give a fuck whose way I'm in, and then there's the ones who assume they're in everybody's way all the time. And you are definitely the second. And you know what? I'm sure half the time people are just trying to like say, hey, what's up, and give you a hug.
Fair enough. All right, so track 13 is Tim. I'm gonna have a hard time pronouncing this one.
Tim Sennett.
The Senate. There we go. That's what I was going to say. You beat me to it. 1,000 1,000 Suburban Nights. I was going to say Subaru Nights. All right. So yeah.
So Tim Sennett. Tim Sennett is a guy I met on the Ducky Boy message board back in the day. And he was somebody else who, upon seeing Mark Lynn pick up an acoustic guitar and start playing shows, wanted to do the solo acoustic thing. He was in a band. He was in Corey's first band, this band Shamhurst, which I think Jamie from Loser Circle was also in. So there's a lot of interconnectivity history. I mean, you know, Boston punk scene, including New Hampshire, which, you know, we've definitely adopted a bit. We're, you know, very incestuous group. But yeah, so he was in he had been in a couple punk bands, and he was doing the solo acoustic thing, and he so he actually had started before me, and I always had this idea of him therefore being like more experienced and more professional than me. But then because of the songs I was writing, he thought I was like, but really we were just two dumb fucking 22-year-olds, right? But so we played a few shows together back in the day, and he, you know, we've always maintained a friendship. But he kind of tapped out on music because he did that thing where, you know, he kind of met the love of his life, got married, had kids, and really I'm just like, are you even miserable enough to write music anymore? You know?
Right. Yeah.
And he has been miserable enough to write music before, especially around the holidays. He is one of the contributors of Miracle on Comm Ave that tends to do more anti-Christmas shit because he just, you know, he has issues with his family or whatever. I don't know enough of it to speak on it, but you know, he's a wonderful human being, and he is somebody else who understands the healing power of video games. He actually fell in love with his wife because she beat Super Mario Brothers 2 in I think like an hour. I think he told me that was like that was his like I must be with her. Maybe it was an hour and a half, but still it was something crazy, some kind of speed run. And he actually uh, you know, after his wife's name's Jessica, lovely person who I adore as well. She uh, you know, had the baby, had a few years of raising the baby, and then she kind of wanted to get into shape, but she didn't really want to go to a gym or do anything like that. And she started going to Dave and Buster's and doing Dance Dance Revolution. And
awesome.
She that was her exercise, and she was getting into shape. And one day Tim found a listing on Craigslist for a like a full-fledged DDR machine, because you know they had home versions of DDR where it's like a plastic mat, and you know, and you can't really like, you can like, but you can't really go hard like you would at a Dave and Buster's. He found a legitimate arcade machine on Craigslist, and he was like, bro, should I buy this for Jessica? And I'm like, I swear, if you don't, I'm going to tell her to fucking divorce you. Like, you got to get that for her. So he did. And that is like, that is, he didn't have to ask me. The only reason he asked me was because at the time, it was around the time I had also started working out. So like her and I were like keeping tabs on each other, like, you know, in our progress or whatever. So he knew. So he wasn't actually asking me. He was just letting me know that he was doing it. But that's the type of person he is, man. He's a sweet fucking sweetheart. And this song that he did is a cover of me. This is one of the songs that I wrote when I was 22. It's a song I wrote about I had reached a point where I finally was like happy with the group of friends that I had living in Arlington. You know, my entire time living in Arlington, I never really hung out with other kids that lived there. I always like went to Harvard Square, and like once I met all the Southie kids, I, you know, hung out with them all the time. But I started hanging out more with Arlington kids and got really close to them, and kind of hit a point where I like realized that the good old days were happening right now. And somebody should write a song about that. And so I did. And it's a song that I still love to this day, but I don't play very often. But because and Tim has supported me throughout my entire career. He buys pretty much everything I've ever put out. He's not one of those people that was around back in the day that like gave up on me when I got weird. He was like, "Hell yeah, get weird."
Get weird, yeah.
And and but this is a song that represents the time that we were playing music together, and it's something that he also connected with because he also grew up in the suburbs and kind of wanted to be a city boy, and then was like, oh shit, I'm actually having a go. Oh no, the good times are going away. Bye. So him covering this is really a beautiful thing, and I honestly never expected somebody to cover me on one of these things. Like it never crossed my mind once. Like, and Aria has released covers of my songs. Other people have, obviously there was the compilation Liam put together to raise money for Will Good, where people were covering old Edison songs, and that was felt really good. But I just never thought, specifically for Miracle on Comm Ave, that I was going to hear my words coming out of somebody else's mouth on a track. And
That's
Tim
awesome.
doing it just feels fucking great and right, and I love him. I'm so grateful.
Awesome. All right, 14. Jules Pilarski.
Yes.
White Winter Hymnal.
Yes. So this is a cover of a song by the band Fleet Foxes, a song I never listened to, and Jules is one of the members of Faith to Fear.
Oh yeah.
And I actually met Jules at the Monsters at the Midway show in the end of October, and I was talking to them, and at no point were they like, "Oh, hey, I'm Jules from Faith to Fear." Like I talked to Faith to Fear like through DMs over this past year because they were on Arya's little blurb that he does about the new releases and stuff for you.
Yeah, the Underground Noise.
Underground Noise, that's what it's fucking called. I can never remember the name of it. Underground Noise. So Faith to Fear was putting out some music this year, and Arya put me on to them, and they heard about me through that. So I talked to them and been like, hey, we should definitely do a show together, something, whatever. But yeah, so I'm at Monsters at the Midway, and I see Jules, and they're talking to Arya a lot, and they're talking to me, but like at no point were they like, hey, I'm Jules from Faith to Fear. And I was just like, well, new stranger, new friend, these things happen. And then I get this song, and I just reply, I'm like, oh hey, great to hear from y'all. I was hoping I would get something from you guys. You guys have put out some great music this year, and thank you so much. And they responded like, oh yeah, no problem, it was great. By the way, it was great meeting you at Monsters at the Midway. And I was just like, what? And then I looked up their Instagram. I'm like, oh, Jules was also at Arya's secret show that we just did, and I believe they tore through his vinyl collection just like
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they were like, I remember at one point I like went outside for a cigarette, and I came back in, and Jules was just like flipping through the records and was like on the phone with somebody and like saying the names of and like I said, there were little blurbs on all of them about
yeah.
And it's like, okay, so this is blah blah, and it says like dark, satanic, violent disco. Does that sound good to you? Okay,
did anyone buy that one? Because I want that one.
I don't remember if that's actually what one of them said, or it was just my own word salad of like a mixture of a bunch of them. But
yeah.
But yeah, so great to have a song from Jules, and it's it was another great like song where I when I got it, I heard it, and I'm like, okay, cool. It's short, it's lo-fi, it's transitional. It's perfect to be right here. And it's great. And I sometimes people feel bad about giving me short songs for this, but I've always been a big believer, not a practicer, but a believer in leaving people wanting more. And this is one of those songs where, like, when it gets to the end, you're like, wait, that's really it? And you just fucking listen to it again. And that's all you got to do. But yeah, great. And I love Faith to Fear, and I can't wait to hear what they got coming next, because just unreal. This very much one of those bands that, again, I wouldn't have heard of without Aria, and now I celebrate everything they put out. So
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I had them on the show too this past year. I think it was this past year. They're great people. Yeah. So all right. All right. We're up to Lindsay Moon, A Long December.
Oh my God.
Fantastic song.
So fantastic.
Good. Yeah.
So Counting Crows cover, obviously. But when she sent me the file was named, so like Miracle on Comm Ave, we shorten it to Mocha, and the name of the file was Lindsay Mocha Chalky Chip. And and that has been me and Jackie's new, like, little vocal stim that we just say all the fucking time. And like when Lindsay appeared at the show the other night, Jackie like walked up to her and went, "Lindsay Mocha Chalky Chip," and like so that's gonna be a thing for a while.
Awesome.
Yeah, when I got this song from her before Aria sent me Fairy Tale in New York. So Aria sent me, obviously, like, the songs that he works on and records, like, he's the gatekeeper of them, and he sends them to me as they're done. So he sent me the Will Good song first, and then he sent me the Recovering Catholic song, and then Lindsay sent me this. So I thought for a second that I might not have been getting Fairy Tale of New York. And I was like, you know what? Fine, it's okay. And then obviously just, again, like I said before, Lindsay is one of those people that thinks that everybody around her is more talented than her, and we're not. She is incredible, and she there are songs that I've heard her cover that make me rethink how I feel about those songs, or maybe even what those songs were trying to say in the first place. And this is one of those. Obviously, it's a song I'm familiar with. I'm a 90s boy, and, Counting Crows was never, I never got that into them, but I was never upset when they came on the radio.
That's a good way to describe that.
Yeah.
The relationship. Yeah, I had the same. Yeah.
And I know some people that were really into them, but this song, again, it's a song. It was their radio hit for a number of years, and it was the song that they would play when they were like, all right, you guys are sick of us playing Mr. Jones all the time, right? So I've heard it a million fucking times in my life, but I've never heard it like this. Both, obviously, sonically, she brings something different to the table, and there's and it makes me feel different than it ever did before. And so I'm really happy. Obviously, really happy that I got both songs out of her this year. And she actually, this year, she is tied with Aria for being involved in the most amount of songs. Wait, I'm actually tied with Aria too. All three of us worked on 3 songs each. So that crazy. All right, there we fucking go. And 3 equals 9. God damn it. Look at us go. All right. Anyway, the edible has kicked in, by the way.
Yeah, buddy.
For those keeping track. But yeah, just great. I love Lindsay, and I love, the more I hear from her, the more I love. And this was just wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
Awesome. All right, Patches and Pins. All I wanted was a skateboard.
Patches and Pins is the solo acoustic project of a dude that knocked up one of my friends, is really the what it comes down to. So he I've never met him. We've spoken. Obviously this is his second time on the comp. But it's literally, I have this friend, Sarah, who I knew back when we were teenagers, and we've, like, through social media, like reconnected here and there. And, at one point she, got pregnant and the guy, they're engaged now. It's crude to say the guy, but until they got engaged, I was like, oh yeah, no, Sarah's baby daddy did a song. But, but so he contributed before and he did it this year as well. And he is great. I think he has a really good voice. And he has a really good style and like honestly attitude from, again, like the little that we've spoken. He really cares about music, and he cares about music having a purpose, which is why he is a part of the Mocha family. And he also told me, like I said before, on December 1st, people were hitting me up like, this was great commuting music, dude, like this is awesome, like made my ride to work way less terrible, blah blah. He hit me up in the afternoon and he said, hey man, just picked my kids up from school, and I put on the compilation, and I planned on playing the whole thing for them, but they made me play your song over and over and over again. And
that's awesome.
All right, we're finally hitting the point where I cry. I've mentioned this before on our podcast about Miracle and Comm Ave, but a big thing for me when I was a kid was every year discovering a new Christmas album or Christmas song and kind of making that song my personality for that year. Or record, whatever it may be, preferably a record, because if it was on song, I would drive everybody crazy. And I never thought like people are sometimes like, hey, is it okay if I like send you something with like a lot of swearing or violent or whatever? I know this is a charity for kids. I'm like, yeah, but the music's not for kids. Like, we're not, like, children are not purchasing this. Like, it's fine. So I already had it in my head that kids don't listen to Miracle on Comm Ave. And to hear that, one, his kids are enjoying it, and two, that they wanted to hear my song over and over. And you know how kids are, he's listening to that all month. Probably past Christmas. He's going to be like, Christmas is over. It's okay. Squallie's happy. Everybody's happy. The kids have their video games. Everything's good. We don't have to do this anymore. And the kids are going to be like, play again. Maybe that won't happen. But in my head, it's going to happen. And that is really, it's something that I never thought would happen in my life. I never thought that I was going to become some kids, again, this is just all speculation because I haven't spoken to him since, but maybe they told kids at school about it. Maybe there are kids at school running around singing boot Santa Claus. Who the fuck knows? Maybe they're going to hear Roots Radical someday and be like, hey, they ripped off SQUALLIE Greenthumb. I don't know. Like, kids are weird like that.
Yeah.
But it gave me lots of good feelings, and I'm really happy. Thank you for falling in love with my friend Sarah and knocking her up and being a part of the Mocha family.
Oh, awesome. 17, Thou Merciless Graves.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Every year. Every goddamn year.
Yeah.
Knock it out of the fucking park. And this year in particular, so, Thou Merciless Graves, the majority, the second half of the spooky crew, and I say the second half meaning that they are just the people who got into music a little later, because there's me and Arya who have been doing it since we were fucking kids, and then there's your friends in hell and Thou Merciless Graves who didn't start until later in life, and part of me has been a little jealous of them because they waited until their life got together before they started making music instead of making music and letting it ruin their life for 20 fucking years. But they both Your Friends in Hell and Thou Merciless Graves this year broke their fear of self-recording. I mean, I know. I'm pretty sure Your Friends in Hell self-recorded the first song that they sent to me the first year. I think they did that themselves. But you know, for like albums and stuff, they always want to try and go to a studio, or at least I know Your Friends in Hell's the drummer they had for a little bit was like a recording engineer, so they would like have him do it. And same thing with Thou Merciless Graves and Growler's other band, Some Kind of Infernal Machine. You know, they want that studio quality, and like there's nothing wrong with wanting the studio quality, but sometimes you can't go to a studio. Sometimes you got to use a janky setup. Sometimes you got to use your fucking phone, and you make with what you have, and it adds its own character to the song. And this is a song that they recorded very scrappily compared to other years, and it adds so much. It adds so much, especially to, you know, the feel that Growler likes to bring, especially when she's singing her sea shanties. She wants to bring that rickety, you know, bunch of drunk people fed up with working, you know, singing along. And it really came across on this recording more than anything else, and I absolutely love it. And another fun thing about Growler is nothing makes Growler happier than teaching people and explaining things to people. And it is the exact type of nerd she is, and I love her for it. And she sent me the song, and as per usual, she sent me like a little blurb about
about it, right?
about the song, about the history of the song, like what it means, what it is, blah blah. And she was like, I don't know if you've ever heard this song before, but you know, it makes sense. You know, you're Irish, whatever. And so my extent of Irish Christmas music knowledge does not go beyond, first off, the Pogues, obviously, and growing up, my family, we had the Clancy Brothers Christmas album. And I was like, I have the Clancy Brothers Christmas album, you know, where they talk about how, you know, Joseph's a dick, so he doesn't get cherries and berries, but Mary does, and, you know, and all this stuff. And then, like, you know, Mrs. Clancy, like, gives them a penny to bury the rat, and she's like, and or something like that. But really, that's as much about Irish Christmas as I know. And she's just like, no, that's the thing. It wasn't a rat. And she explains to me that because the song is about killing the wren, right? And it's you know, it's another class warrior anthem, as they all are. And also the wren represents like the spirit of winter, like the god of winter or whatever. And so they kill the wren, and that's to like try and make sure they don't fucking freeze to death or starve to death in the winter and shit. I'm paraphrasing. Yeah, I'm probably missing a lot, but you know what I mean. And she's like, okay, so it's a wren, but you know, part of the thing is, you know, like lower class levels in Ireland, you know, they say things different, so oftentimes it's pronounced ran. And she wasn't giving them a penny to bury the rat. They were giving her a penny to bury the ran. And I'm like, oh my God. Because as a child, I thought, oh, there's a pest control problem at Miss Clancy's house. So they kill the rat and bury it. And then teenager and on, I'm like, oh, there was a fucking snitch. And she gives a penny to handle it. No, it's here's a penny, kill the god of winter. I'm like, what the fuck? Oh, that's so good. And then she sent me a Wikipedia article and was like, anyways, here's your heritage.
Yeah. I love it. I love it.
And this is Growler. If you're listening to this right now, this is another one of those nice things I'm saying about you. Right. I have zero complaints. Explain everything forever. It's fine. Yeah. I want her to have her own goddamn podcast.
Yeah, me too, actually. Yeah.
Honestly though, with all the cool artifacts and stuff she has in her house, you should probably go YouTube and just do straight. like video essays on shit because it's something she's passionate about. It's something that you will always enjoy hearing because she's passionate about it. And again, she just has a bunch of random cool shit in her house that would make great set dressing. So,
Yeah,
and
sure.
honestly, often does make great set dressing at her shows.
Yeah. Right on. Yeah. Well, that again, one of my favorite people right there. So
absolutely.
Yeah. All right. 18 is the recovering Catholics.
Yes.
Left out in the cold.
It's another Blue Bloods cover.
Another blue. This might be a thing.
I did talk with Aria about it last year. We were talking about how on last year's podcast episode, you brought up that it sounded like the old Edison, and I was like, well, because the old Edison was a bunch of Blue Bloods fans playing acoustic guitar, and and it is that, and it is very much, that it is also part of my heritage. But we, like, Ari and I talked about, like, you do an acoustic cover of pretty much any Blue Blood song and it sounds like a Christmas song. Like it has that energy to it because it's either, about terrible like sadness or loneliness, or how great it is to have a bunch of friends around, and so like it really does work. So I'm not saying for sure that they're definitely just gonna run the entire Blue Bloods discography, but don't be surprised if they do. And I love Recovering Catholics, mostly because just obviously, like, I loved the Radicals so much, and anytime Matt and Aria work on anything together, it's just great seeing them, great seeing that they've never lost a fucking step. But I especially love that there's this kind of like little divide, where they're either playing a show where they're both in their white suits, right? And it's a cohesive unit, or you get, the Irish pop punk and the fucking Caretaker over there, the fucking and it's just like there is like they have and they've always had different, dressing styles and playing styles. So like that, it was even in the Radicals, but like especially now that Aria is so Coffin Salesman and Matt is just like fucking your neighborhood punk rock bartender, like, and and when they're on stage, just like seeing that, but then when they play together, it's like perfect. And like if you didn't know that they were the Odd Couple already, if you didn't know that they're fucking Waldorf and whatever the fuck his name is from the Muppets already. Stadler and Waldorf. If you didn't already know that they were Stadler and Waldorf,
that's a good comparison there too, man. Dude, you're knocking them out tonight.
Well, that one, I mean, that one has been like, that has been their, like, that was something that they realized about themselves when they were about, like, I want to say like 18, maybe 19 years old. Just especially when they are standing in the corner of a show judging everything that's going on. They do that on occasion, and it is 100% Sadler and Waldorf. Yeah, the edibles really kicked in now. But yes, that is that is the beauty of them. And God, just anything where they play more music is great. They also both helped me out with my Monsters at the Midway set. I did a whole Sinners thing, where have you seen Sinners?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so I did. Okay, good. So I did the whole Sinners thing where I was Remick, and and we did the two Irish traditional songs that they did, and I had both Aria. So for Rocky Road to Dublin, it starts with this like droning sound, and I hit up Aria and I was like, "Yo, you got that musical suitcase thing?" And he's like, "Oh, you mean the blah blah blah?" I'll never remember the name of it. And I'm like, "Yeah, that thing." And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, what do you need?" I'm like, I just need you to drone a C chord, like at the beginning of Rocky Road to Dublin." And he was like, "All right, cool, I'll bring it." And but he was also like, honestly, he's like, I did, Shotgun did ask me to be a part of their set, and I did turn it down because I'm kind of like running low on spoons right now. So maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't. And I'm like, it's fine if you don't. It's fine if you don't. It's just, you own the thing. And I'm like, Growler also has one. So I asked her if she was bringing hers because she was already playing the show. And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, cool. So they both ended up showing up with it. And so I had both of them playing it, and it was really cool.
Oh,
and
wow. Yeah.
And I had Matt on the floor tom, like playing the drum part, and I just did Rocky Road to Dublin, and it was it was after, pretty much right after I found out that we were going to be putting Pippin down the next day. Like, we hadn't said it out loud. We didn't even really say it out loud at the vet. They just kind of knew. But Jackie was supposed to be a part of the set. Pippin wasn't doing well, so she was like, I'm staying home. And she was like, she texted me something where she didn't come out and say it, but I could read between the lines. So it was one of those moments where I had something in me I needed to kill, and I got to do it on stage, which is always good. Like, oh man, you get that text from an ex right before you play, best set of your life, right? Like, but this was a far deeper text of a far bigger sadness. And I was able to just get up on stage and scream about beating the fuck out of people with my shillelagh, and that was great. And having Matt and Aria be a part of that was extra special too. So big shouts to Recovering Catholics. Can't wait for more from them. Another band that plays a bunch of songs live that aren't on their records, and we're like, come on.
Yeah. Actually, you guys all played my house this year.
We did. Yeah, we did.
Yeah. That was a good show.
That was a very good show. A bat did shit on my hat though.
Is that what that whole thing came? I was in the house, I think, when that conversation came about, I think.
Yeah, the bats started flying around. Everybody was like, "Oh, cool, pretty." I was like, "Awesome!" And I went to adjust my hat, and I was like, "That's bat shit." I got guano on my hat. Somebody call Ace Ventura. But yeah, I was like, oh man. So, but that was the only bad part of that show. The rest of that show was fucking amazing. Yeah. It was really, really cool. But yes.
Thanks again for coming out,
Of course, dude.
All right, track 19. We're back with Jackie Frasca.
So this was again, like I said, we had the songs that we were listening to after Pippin passing. This was one of them, and it was something where we really wanted to, especially with the Pippin songs, we really wanted to record it like as clear and professionally as possible. With my equipment, which again shit the bed, and having to do Wolves on the phone was one thing, but this song was like even harder because it just holds a lot of weight, and it even felt wrong to me, but I wanted the song done. I knew that Jackie would spend the rest of the year regretting not recording the song more than she would regret it sounding not as perfect as she wanted it to. And we sat there on the couch and just like went through it, and every time either like she made a mistake or I made a mistake, it was like it didn't bug us in the same way that it normally would, because we were like, we have the rest of tonight to do this. The day is not over, the night is not over, and we're gonna get this right. And it came out so beautiful. Jackie does do this thing where when we listen to Miracle on Comm Ave, when we're like a few days removed from the recording, she can't help herself. She like makes a face every time she hears herself. She's like, I could have done that like that. I could have done like that. And I'm always like, enough. It's done. You know, it's like it's a lesson that every musician has to learn eventually. That once it's recorded, it's recorded. Um, you know, that's part of what drove Kanye insane, was when he realized that because of the internet, he could re-edit all of his songs like every day if he wanted to. A lot of other things made Kanye go insane. Fuck Kanye West, but right. I'm just saying, I definitely think that's part of it. But and so she does do that with this song. There are things that she definitely wanted, but it is so beautiful, and you know,
yeah, it's wonderful. It's great. I like,
and, and you always like, you know, you always wish that your partner could see themselves like through, you know, your eyes or somebody else's eyes, so they could like see how like wonderful they are. And my thing with Jackie has always been, I wish she could hear what other people hear, because she hears herself, she hears, you know, every mistake that she made, she hears, you know, you hear when you record something, again, you hear every time that your tongue got stuck on the roof of your mouth a split second longer than you wanted it to, right? But you just got to live with it. And I'm just like, if you could just hear. And you know, on the subject of kids listening to Miracle on Comm Ave and loving a particular song, Chris from Mass Spy, his daughter, I think it's our cover of Hospital Beds. I don't remember if it was Hospital Bed, but it's one of Jackie's songs on one of the years. Chris like came up to her at that show at your house and was like, "Hey, I just want you to know my daughter wants to listen to that song all the time. She loves your voice and blah blah." And that's what
amazing voice. Jackie has an amazing voice.
So good, and she just does it because she loves it. She never cared. Like when I first started talking to her, and I was like, "Hey, you know, like." You know, she was doing this thing where she was using this like karaoke app to like record herself singing shit, and it would like find like either like official instrumentals or like you know, fan made instrumentals. Like it would like, the app would like search all over like YouTube, BANDCAMP, Spotify, like everything, like trying to find an instrumental for you to sing over. And she would just do that, and just like for fun. And she would like do karaoke on Facebook Live because it was 2020 and everybody was in lockdown. So like that was her like reaching out to the world, right?
Oh yeah.
And she just does it. And I'm like, it's never been, you know, and every once in a while she's like, I wish I could play guitar so I could be like, you know, we love artists like Laura Stevenson, who is an amazing singer, guitarist. And she like definitely wants to be like her, but it's never been a thing where she like beats herself up because she can't do it. She just wants to sing. And she's always like, thank you for letting me sing on Miracle on Comm Ave. Thank you for letting me come up on stage and do a song. And it's never like, are you fucking kidding me? Like everybody wants that.
Right.
The shows I play where I don't bring her up because she just like doesn't, you know, fit what I'm going for at that show or whatever. And that's literally the only reason I've ever not brought her up. I'm just like, you know, it's a doom metal show. What do you, like, you don't sing doom metal.
It's a hip hop show.
It's a hip hop show. You don't rap, you know, like, yeah. So, so that's the only reason. But anytime I don't, people are like, why, why did you sing the whole time? Where's your girlfriend? You know, in the words of Katie Newman, where's your hot girlfriend? Why isn't she singing right now? So yeah, love having her on it. It's always a treat. And when she came to me and she was like, I want to do 2 songs this year, she like made this say like, is that greedy? And I'm like, bitch, you could do the whole thing.
Yeah.
You do the whole thing. 1 year we'll do it. Just all Jackie.
Awesome. Yeah. I listen, I love every time she gets up and sings at a show. You know what I mean? It's awesome. You know, I wish I could play the guitar too. You know, so I get that part of it, but she, you know, she's got you to play.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know, and I'm sure she could like direct you in how she wants something played and everything like that. So
yeah. No, she definitely can. Oh man, we are getting close to A24 movie length. I said we wouldn't do that this year.
All right. It's all right, dude. Hey, it's deserved, man. And I know
Yeah.
Listen, one of the other things too, like, is like, like I'm happy we're at this length because I know, like, you had doubts about doing it this year because of everything that was going on, and like, and I appreciate you doing it, and I also appreciate, like, I think, like, I bet you, like, from playing the show the other night and everything, I feel like you're back to Squally Claus a little bit,
It definitely the show was a big help. The show
Yeah.
was it was two types of medicine. Like it did like being with all my friends and also Suds, Shotgun's wife, uh like Suds made Suds made it was a potluck. Suds made this a couple bottles of this like non-alcoholic like honey ginger cinnamon black tea mixture, and I was using
Ooh.
it to mix with my booze all night, and it really like it really made me not sick for a few hours. It was fucking
Yeah.
magic. But like there was the friendship magic of like being in a group of friends, and like we haven't Jackie and I haven't gone. Jackie's hung out with a couple people since Pippin passed. Normally just like when I'm working late at night, I'm like, I don't want you home alone. Like go, like she'll go like hang out with like Dana and stuff, and that's really good. But we hadn't gone as a couple to hang out with anybody. The night we were actually the night her and I were recording her songs for the comp. We were supposed to go bowling with Steph and Liam, and we didn't end up going because we spent all night recording, and by the time we were done we were exhausted. And but like part of me really wanted to do that, obviously not just to hang out with my friends and have a good time, but I was nervous about my first time being around a bunch of people being like a party, being a show where I could be getting pulled in all these different directions, and and look, sending me love when something terrible happens to me never goes unappreciated, but I do personally sometimes feel like uh people are like asking something of me when they do it, and it's not to say that they are, it's just where my brain goes.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah.
And
I get
so
I get things like that too when that happens.
yeah. So I definitely didn't want to like have my first public outing be in a room full of people who just wanted to talk to me about Pippin, or at least just tell me that they were sorry about Pippin, and I'm like, hey, we're supposed to be having fun.
Yeah.
But it was a bunch of friends, a potluck. I had my drinks. I talked to people about all the terrible Christmas horror movies I've been watching, and we talked about other stuff. And Pippin did get brought up here and there, but it didn't become a permanent form of conversation. And I was able to be me again, exactly, be Squally Claus again, which I wasn't sure. I really wasn't sure. I knew it would definitely happen by next year, but I wasn't sure if it would happen this year. So.
Right.
So yeah, it's great.
All right, so can we skip track 20?
No.
All right. Track 20 was me.
Mm-hmm.
All right, no tradition.
Yep. So Trev is Trev is a friend I've had for a long time, who kind of falls into a similar camp of Liam, where we know he's ultra talented. We know that he can do like so many things with the written word, and he just like doesn't. He also like he has like the rest of us, like he has a job and he has other hobbies like this podcast thing, which is like a great excuse to never get any writing done, because you're just like, oh, I gotta do podcasts, hold on, I got my weekly podcast, I got my BANDCAMP Friday podcast, I got all this stuff. oh, I got a Patreon popping now. I got to do bonus episodes. Like, you know, it's a great excuse to never get any fucking writing done. And, you know, for years, Trev's always been like, would you like accept a spoken word thing? And I'm like, yes, absolutely. Spoken word definitely has a place in here. I've had other people ask me if they could like write a poem and record themselves reciting it and send it in. And I've always said yes, but they've never done it. And until this year, Trev has also never delivered on this spoken word piece. But he did deliver on the spoken word piece. And let me tell you, part of this whole, again, how the comp just kind of comes together in a very, very specific way, even though it isn't planned to be like that. This track ended up being a perfect transition again from where we were musically to where we're about to head musically, because this is so what the theme of this year's comp kind of ended up being was a lot of the leading up to the holiday. You lead up to the holiday and you can have all sorts of emotions leading up to the holiday. You can be excited about it. You know, if you're me, you get to be Squally Claus. You get to put this thing together, buy your friends presents, and you know, and do this stuff and you know, do what you can to make a difference. You can start out happy but then get really pissed off, like today when me and Jackie went shopping. We had to buy a few things. I needed a pair of Grinch pajama pants because that's the kind of ratchet I am now. And you know, and we experienced for the first time in years what driving around a fucking plaza parking lot is like this close to Christmas. It's hell. And you know, you do that and then you forget, and then maybe you don't have the money that you thought you had to buy your friends presents. And the closer you get to it, you're like, fuck, I actually don't want this. I don't want to be with my family. Oh my God, my job gets harder closer to the holidays while everybody else's job gets easier. What the fuck? Like, you get in this funk, but you could also be happy. So throughout this fucking thing, we have our ups and our downs. And then Trev brings in something that I've experienced, thankfully not many years, but I've experienced, and I'm sure plenty of other people have experienced, especially the people who can only send me negative Christmas songs. Just pure, crippling, devastating loneliness and detachment on a day that you have been taught your entire life is supposed to be the opposite of all those things. And coming to grips with the feelings that you have that led to this. Trev, that shit fucked me up. You sent that to me while I was doing my warm-up stretches at the gym, and I listened to it on the foam roller, and I had to stop at a very specific point on the foam roller where I have the most tender spot right on my fucking quad right there, and sit there for the entire length of the song in order to match the level of misery you brought to it. I'm really happy you're on it, dude, and I'm really happy. I'm not happier this fucking miserable, you know? You shouldn't be.
I've been better. I mean,
I know.
I'm better than, you know, but that was something not yet. All
right. But you know, it is always, even if it's not how you're feeling now, like you felt it at some point.
Yeah.
And you know, whatever. I've put fucking miserable, depressing songs on these comps too. You know, like I've put out shit where people are like, "That was amazing. Wow, how are you? Like, are you okay? Like, we be checking in?" And I'm like, I should have checked in before I put out the record. Now I'm fine. But anyway, regardless to that, you know, I'm sorry that you had to feel this way, but it is it is really it is something beautiful, something that fits so well, and something that like is worth like has been worth the anticipation of all the years that you told me that you were thinking about doing it, or even the years where you said that you definitely were and you still didn't. It's
Mm-hmm.
fine. So many people fall in those categories. You're not alone there. The only people who've never fallen in that category is me and Arya. So you're in a class of a lot of people
Yeah.
who couldn't deliver for whatever reason, but when you finally did, it really it met the anticipation and the expectations, and it exceeded them. So thank you so much for that, Trev.
Thank you for the kind words, my friend. You're seriously like
Yeah.
yeah, it's a thing, right? It's a thing, and like it was something that I toyed with this thing for many years, personally, and then toyed with this goddamn poem thing forever because I wanted it to be like I just couldn't figure out how to do it in like as like a song, right? So
Right.
and then if I had more time, like Arya was like, oh, if like he was busy and it was towards the end, so like, but like he was like I had said something about I had this idea for like a real depressing guitar, but I don't play guitar, and he was like, if there was more time, and he gave me some notes on it, like I thought I had a decent pause, and he was like, you got to pause more. I was like, really? So I had to pause it. I paused a little bit more for between thing and like yeah. Anyway, thank you for the kind words. I'm glad it fit for you, and I'm glad that you liked it.
It really did. It really did fit well, and yeah, sense of space is a very hard thing to learn. When I'm talking about with the pauses and like you having to pause more, like it's not it's even something that you don't recognize in yourself, whether you're doing spoken word work or making music. Like you can write and record something, and like you think it's fine, and the opposite of what we were talking about earlier, where everybody hates their recordings. You can write and record something and you think it's fine, and then there are people that are listening to it that are like, that came in a little too early, that and
I just didn't want to like pause long enough that someone thought it was over.
Right. No, and that's what I'm talking about.
Right?
That's the thing. So it's sense of space. Like you have to be aware that there's enough space to give it some air, to give it some feeling, but also don't let it go so long that somebody thinks it's over. Yes. And that's the anxiety that causes people to not put spaces in their music.
Fair enough.
Or anything else. So yeah, so that is good, and it's a lesson you learn now. And I'm glad you had Arya's help on that. When you did first send it to me, I was thinking of asking you if you wanted me to put just like some ambient sounds behind it. But as the other songs started coming in and I realized exactly where it was going to fit, I was like, no, it needs to be silent.
Fair.
Trev's voice. Honestly, if anything, maybe a little reverb, so it's a little echoier, so it sounds like you're in your cold abandoned house or whatever. But but no, it's still it. Not to say you should change anything. I'm just saying if there was anything.
Well, again, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you digging it. So, and I appreciate the kind words. I was blushing this whole time. So all right, last track, 21. We'll go. We're skipping. We're no more 20 talk. 21.
Okay.
Arshan Galis, did I say that right?
So I don't know. I've never met this person. They are mutual friends of mine through I believe they're also friends with like Lindsay and some of the I think they lean more on the cabaret side of the spooky crew than the than the musician. I honestly I don't know for sure, and it's entirely possible that I have met them, and I apologize if I have and I've forgotten. But yeah, so I don't know how to pronounce their name either. But they sent, and this was the song that cemented that you were going to go second to last, because occasionally including the very first comp, like the Miracle on Comm Ave, I wrote a song and then I covered New Year's Day by Taylor Swift as the closing song because I was like, obviously, a Christmas album should end on a New Year's song. And throughout the years, I've gotten a couple of other New Year's based songs, but none of them ever felt like they would fit last. There was always something that felt more like it would fit last. But also, they've always been sad. Like Coffin Salesman did that song "No More Years" a couple years ago.
I remember that one, yeah.
And Lindsay covered New Year's Eve, which, you know, while it is a love song, it's a very sad and kind of somber love song. And this is the first like upbeat New Year's song I've ever received, and it you know, it came to me as like okay, right, like I have all this like confusion and turmoil throughout the track list, like up to this, and then I have Treb's fucking Abyss. and then when you come out on the other side, because, you know, if Christmas is a bad time for you in general, or just say you just happen to have a bad Christmas, usually have a good one, happen to have a bad one, you can always move on to New Year's. Now, I do hate New Year's. I hate any holiday that is amateur night.
Yes.
And
good. Damn, I am gonna have to collect all these things. But yes, you're right.
But New Year's is an even worse amateur night than St. Patrick's Day, because New Year's is both an amateur night and everybody's super sweet 16 party at the same time. Like, everybody's supposed to have their perfect New Year's no matter what, but everybody's trying to have a perfect New Year's, except the people like me who have given up on it.
I'm trying to go to bed. That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, exactly. I found out the other night that I might be working past midnight on New Year's, and I'm like, oh my God, is there going to be like a countdown at the fucking weed store? Get out of here, gross. But anyway, but it is a song about New Year's, but it's not a song about the holiday of New Year's or celebrating it. It's just like, I need a new year. I need a fresh fucking start. And it's got this, and fuck it, let's go, which is the best fucking line in the whole song. Just, it really like is like I went to bed on Christmas feeling like Trev. And then I woke up the next morning being like, you know what? There's a whole new year for me to fucking conquer, and I'm going to go do it right now. And I'm not starting exactly on New Year's like those plebs. We're doing it right now. So fucking it's great. And you know, and welcome to the family. Again, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce their name, so I'm not even going to try. But very happy with this one. They sent me last minute. They sent me a better mix of the song, which when they first sent me the song, I was like, this is great, but it's kind of poorly mixed. And that was from listening to it on my phone. And then I listened to it. We have like a sound bar for our TV. And when I do my final like levels check on the comp to make sure like one song isn't a million times louder than another, everything's kind of even, I use that speaker because it gives me a better response. And when I listened to the original mix through the speaker, it sounded much better. And I was like, okay, so maybe it's my phone. But they a couple hours before I published the thing, they're like, hey, I did a new mix, is it okay? And I'm like, yeah, that's simple, that's fine, you already sent the song in, I'm not going to tell you no. And it's real easy on Bandcamp to just like delete the audio tracks there and put up a new one. But I did have to do it on the shitty signal at my job. So thankfully it did work, because otherwise I would have completely lost the song. But yeah, it's really, really good. And you know, I haven't checked out any of their other stuff. But if it's anything like this, it's fucking beautiful. And it's always obviously nice to have new members to the family. Whether they be, you know, a band that I thought was unattainable like Hell Beach, or a friend of a friend of a friend who heard about this comp and wanted to contribute. Like, it doesn't matter either way. The more the merrier. I'm still thankful to this day that this has never been a completely bloated compilation. Uh, those tend to be better for raising money, but not so good for a listener's experience.
Yeah.
I like that this thing has always been able to, no matter how many people I ask, stay within the like 15 to 21 track range. This year's is a little longer than my commute, but just a little. So I appreciate that, and just everybody for coming together and doing this, and sending in and accepting the fact that I wasn't going to come ask them, and knowing that at the end of the day, uh, we've just got a group of people that care about this because it's for the charity, and that it's something that even if your heart isn't 100% into the charity itself, that this is something that people have seen over the years and want to be a part of it, are trying to, and all you got to do is complete a thing. You just got to complete the song and get it to me in time. That's it. I also want to give a big fuck you to whoever sent me a fake band. The first song I received this year was a song by a fake band that doesn't exist. I checked an AI detector, and the song itself wasn't AI. But when I was trying to figure out who the fuck the band was and how they heard about me, because I asked around and I was like, does anybody know this band? And everybody's like, no. I'm like, okay, well, they got my email address. They know about the compilation. I don't know how. And I asked for a picture of the band as like a sneaky way to be like, oh, it's you, whatever. And they sent me an AI generated photo, which I did not appreciate. And big fuck you to them. And this is not the type of thing you fuck around with that shit with. There will never be an AI artist or a piece of AI art on this fucking comp. That's not to say I'm going to check everybody's song for AI, but yeah, this is a family, and you don't get in that way. So if whoever did that is listening, seriously, fuck you.
Yeah. It's weird that happened. I guess we're gonna see that shit a lot more, though. I guess. And
it was one of those things where I was like, I'll never have to worry about that, and then I did. First song I got. But anyway.
So I want to add one thing to track 21. I'm happy it was the last track because it gives you hope, like you said, after coming out of the abyss that I was in that one. So I like that. It was a good closer, I think, for the whole thing. So. But we made it through, dude. We made it through another one of these.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the next one. I hope I see you before then. I'm sure I will, but
you probably will.
Yeah. And I want to thank you for everything you do. I know you say you're just the presents and it's everyone who's part of this, but you know what, man, you're the one lining up this thing, making it work in a cohesive way. And you do, I know this is like a big thing that you do every year, and you dedicate the time and the effort to do it. And I just want to recognize you for that too. So
I appreciate that.
With that said, man, can't wait for the next one. Can't wait to like I said, to see you out in public. And I love you, bud. And
love you too, man.
I hope you have a good holiday.
Yeah, I mean, it's shaping up to be something special, something different, obviously, but something very special. So I'm looking forward to it.
Good. All right, we'll see you
later.
December 24th.